السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده ربه، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، وخير الهدى هدى محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. Verily, all the praise, all of our dedication, all of the magnification should be only for Allah Jalla fi Ula. And Ya Ikhwani, Ya Akhwat, the final messenger that we should follow is none other than Abu Qasim al-Amin al-Sadiq wal-Masduq Muhammad ibn Abdullah salawatullahi wa salam alayhi. Continuing, Ya Ikhwan, with the topic that we gave the first Jumu'ah last month, and this is a continuation, Ya Ikhwan, of a topic, Ya Ikhwan, that I believe as a new Muslim, 33 years, I'm a new old Muslim. The Muslims need to go back and look back at the importance of what is known as the tahqiq of La ilaha illallah. Because in my estimation, Ya Ikhwan, and I've done lots of tests with the Muslims, they can't explain it properly, Ya Ikhwan. We know, Ya Ikhwan, when you say La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت وهو حي لا يموت. This is something that we say as little kids, but we haven't taken it apart and we haven't explained it and understood it yet. Where there is nothing worthy of worship except and only Allah. He has no partners, or He's without no partners. His is the dominion, and it is in Him that all praise is due. He gives life and He causes death. Many of the Muslims, they say this on their tongue, but they don't understand it. Because when you go to the land of the Muslims, which I've been to, thinking that, mashallah, the Muslims are like Sahaba, ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'in, I've seen with my eyes Muslims make shirk al-akhbar al-mukhrij min al-millah. I've seen them prostrate down to a grave of fulan wa alan. This takes you right out of Islam, ya ikhwan. So we look at the importance, ya ikhwan, of this topic. The other day I was sitting in the library and my daughters, and they brought one of their friends in the new library that's been rekindled, the new Hazel McCanyon Library, ya ikhwan. I was sitting there, and my daughter's friends had some questions to ask me about Islam and Iman. While I was sitting there, ya ikhwan, 10 young Muslim brothers that were at the library, and mashallah, the Muslims are deep in Muslim saga, ya ikhwan. They came and they asked me, and I was sitting at a big table. They said, "Excuse me, sir, are you teaching physics? Are you teaching physics?" I said, "No, I'm teaching something more important than that. I'm teaching the tahqiq of La ilaha illallah, the actualization of La ilaha illallah. You guys want to learn?" I said, "Nah, we don't need to know that, brother. We're Muslim." I said, "No, you need to know it, ya ikhwan." So I said to these young boys, this is more important than physics. It's more important than algebra. It's more important than arithmetic, trigonometry, calculus, geometry. It's more important than fashion for the sisters and traveling for the brothers and families. It's more important than culinary. It's more important than business, stocks and bonds and trading. It's more important, ya ikhwan, than bullion, if you have any. It's more important than Bitcoin. It's more important than trade. It's more important than commerce. We're talking about the tahqiq of La ilaha illallah. Let's unpack that, billahi ta'ala. The scholars of Islam, they went on to say, فَإِنَّ عَقِيدَةُ التَّوْحِيدِ هِيَ أَسَّاسٌ مِنَ الدِّينِ. That from the creed, the belief of Tawheed, this is the origin of the religion. This is the fundamentals of the religion. La ilaha illallah al-rukn al-awwal min arkan al-Islam. So the first pillar of Islam we know is La ilaha illallah. The Muslims, they do not fully comprehend La ilaha illallah. So much so, ya ikhwan, that some of the brothers, they came here and it just makes my blood boil, makes me more invigorated. They came here to have a nap. When we're talking about La ilaha illallah, and the Muslims are making dua to Allah, oh Allah help us, oh Allah help us, oh Allah help us, and no help is coming, ya ikhwan. People came to have a nap in the Jumu'ah. You might get one ayah that can change your life. You might get one hadith that will give you a better comprehension. But brothers came here to sleep in Jumu'ah. Brothers, if you came to the church where I grew up and you were sleeping, the minister would throw the microphone at your head and the choir would throw all their instruments at your head, ya ikhwan, because you're not paying attention. Ya ikhwan, when we ask the Muslims, what are the pillars of La ilaha illallah? The Muslims have said to me, La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. I said, no, I did not ask that question. I asked the question, what is the pillar of La ilaha illallah? Again, they said, La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. I said, we didn't get to the Risala of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam yet. We didn't get there yet. What are the pillars of La ilaha illallah? Some Muslims, they look confused because you've never been taught it. The first pillar is an-nafi, and the second pillar is ithbat. This is something that we need to study, ikhwan. Nafi is total negation. La nafiya la na nahiya. There is nothing, cross out, there is nothing or no one that deserves to be worshipped. Illa is the istithna, except and only Allah. La ilaha il Allah. It's a jumla mufida. This is the problem, ya ikhwan, when we don't study the Arabic language, which I've been learning for 33 years. There is i'rab to every sentence in the Quran. If you study the i'rab of Quran, the grammatical study, it's a science within a science. That's a very high science, ya ikhwan. And you can't fully comprehend the meaning until you go back and you understand. One verse the Muslims recite it all the time, and I think it goes right over our head, is the verse, ya ikhwan, in Surah Al-Baqarah, chapter 256. We read it all the time. And here is nothing what is back in the sentence. وَقَالَ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى فَمَنْ يَكْفُرْ. Right there, whoever makes kufr, whoever disavows. فَمَنْ يَكْفُرْ بِالطَّاغُوتِ. Whoever makes kufr of all the false deities. وَيُؤْمِن بِاللَّهِ. And he believes in Allah. فَقَدْ اسْتَمْسَكَ بِالْعُرْوَةِ الْوُثْقَى لَا انْفِصَامَ لَهَا وَاللَّهُ سَمِيعٌ عَلِيمٌ. We have the Quran and we read it for barakah and hasana, but are we understanding the verses and the words, ya ikhwan? Whoever disbelieves in the taghut, the false deities that man has manufactured, whether they are kings, or they're prophets, or angels, or governments, or ideologies, whoever makes kufr of the taghut and they believe in Allah, they'll have the most strongest, firmest handhold, ya ikhwan. This is a serious thing, ya ikhwan. This ayah is not a joke. It comes right after the ayah of the throne, ya ikhwan. It's a powerful thing. So when we look at this situation, ya ikhwan, the difference between me and you guys, when I became a Muslim, I had to sit in front of a bunch of brothers. And I had to say, do you want to become Muslim? Yes. What are the pillars of Islam? I had to say what it was. They said, do you believe in it? I said, yes. They said, okay, repeat after me. Ashhadu, ashhadu. Allah, Allah. Ilaha. Many of you never did that. You were born into Islam. You took Islam for free from your ancestors. Yahweh, when I said that statement, it changed my life. The next day after I quit my job at the liquor store, my dad kicked me out of the house for becoming a Muslim. Because, Yahweh, this statement changed the world. And it changed my world, Yahweh. قال الله تعالى إلا من شهد بالحق وهم يعلمون. Except for those who testify and they know. Yahweh, it is wajib ala kullu muslim wa muslimatun to know the statement in detail. La ilaha illallah. What's your evidence for that, oh young brother? قال الله تعالى قال الله تعالى فَأْلَمْ. This is what they call fi'l al-amr in Arabic language, if you Arabs know. Fi'l al-amr means it's a must. فَأْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ وَاسْتَغْفِرْ لَهُ. Know, have certainty that there is nothing or no one that deserves to be worshipped except for Allah. And after you know that, then do the action of istighfar. After every salat, ya ikhwan. Many of us, we've been Muslim for lots of years. We've prayed and bowed and made all the beautiful manufactured actions of up and down. After the salat, we're told to say, because we haven't given Allah Jalla Fi'ala His beautiful thana, we're supposed to say, Astaghfirullah, Astaghfirullah, Astaghfirullah. Why do we say that, ya ikhwan? Because of the inconsistency while we're making the salat. Oh, I gotta go buy some ribs tonight because my cousins are coming home tomorrow. Oh, mashallah, I gotta go grocery shopping. Oh, did I pay the bill? Oh, what are the kids gonna do? Oh, I need to call my sister because she told me her and her husband are having. We forget Allah while we're in the salat, ya ikhwan, and our mind it goes to other places. Us not really fully comprehending the meaning of Allahu Akbar, which many Muslims, they translate Allah is great. No, that's not the Jumla Mufida. That's not what the Lughawiyyin, the Nuhat, what they say. It means Allahu Akbar min kulli shay. Allah is greater than every single thing, ya akhwan, ya akhwat. So brothers and sisters in Islam, many Muslims, they want to study many aspects of the religion. But we find, ya akhwan, that we are lacking in our comprehension of the religion. All of us, including myself, we need to go back to the basics. Like you're a new Muslim and learn the basics. وقال الله تعالى وإلهكم إله واحد إلا لا إله إلا هو الرحمن الرحيم. Allah Ta'ala is going to say, your God is only one. There is no God worthy of worship except the most compassionate and the most merciful. So how is it possible that a Muslim living in 2024 with the latest gadgets is asking for land while a land, so-called pious people, dead or alive? Oh, Sheikh so-and-so, please help my wife get pregnant. Oh, Sheikh so-and-so, I'm in poverty, and they're asking for things from those that can't help them because they're dead, or they themselves are in poverty, or they themselves are in need of worshiping Allah Ta'ala. It shows you, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, that we need to understand an-nafi wa ithbat, negation and affirmation in our religion, my dear brothers and my dear sisters. Imagine this young boy, he said to me, do you teach physics? Because he believes that if he learns physics, he's going to get a good job that's going to be able to pay for a nice house and a nice car, and he'll be nice in the dunya. But he didn't know the meaning of La ilaha illallah, wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. الحمد لله حمد كثير طيبا مبارك فيه كما يحب ربنا ويرضى. تحقيق of La ilaha illallah. A tahqiq of La ilaha illallah. When you talk to your cousins, your children, you tell them the khutbah today was about the actualization of La ilaha illallah. This science of Islam, it is unappreciated. It is undertaught. It is misconceived. It is ignored. It is deserted. It is overlooked. It is abandoned. It is cast aside. It is passed over. It is depreciated. It is lapsed. It is dismissed. And it is underestimated. Ya ikhwani, ya akhwat. I asked some Muslims, and most of the Arabs, they can do this because Arabic just happens to be the religion. It just happens to be the Arabic language is from their culture, ya ikhwan. But I've said to thousands of Muslims, here's a piece of paper, here is a pen. I challenge you. Can you write in Arabic, La ilaha illallah? You'd be surprised and shocked how many Muslims cannot write La ilaha illallah. Ya ikhwan, it is something very serious, my dear brothers and sisters. I've asked Muslims, can you give me the two rukin min La ilaha illallah, nafi wa ithbat? And this is why we have big problems, ya ikhwan. When you ask most of the Muslims, what is the meaning of La ilaha illallah? They say there's no God but God. That's not it. There's no God but Allah. That's not it. That's a wrong translation, ya ikhwan. Because you have to understand the istirahi meaning, the shar'i meaning, and the lugwi meaning of La ilaha illallah. There's nothing that's worthy of worship except for Allah Azza wa Jal. Wahdahu la sharika lah. It says it right in the second or third, fourth kalima. There's nothing worthy of worship except for Allah alone, and He has no partners. We memorize this as kids, but comprehension, it isn't there yet, ikhwan. So when we look at this situation, ikhwan, there's a few titles that Allah Azza wa Jal has mentioned about this statement, showing its importance. وَقَالَ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى كَلِمَاتٌ بَاقِيَةٌ فِي الْعَقِيبِ. Your word lasting among your offspring. This ayah is talking about Ibrahim alayhi salatu taslim. That this, ya ikhwan, is a great inheritance for the children and the next generation. You could be a multi-billionaire and you leave your kids millions and billions of dollars. But if they didn't inherit from you like Ibrahim alayhi salatu taslim, his children, they inherited La ilaha illallah. They lived it, they loved it, and they learned it. Ya ikhwan. This is the greatest inheritance that a parent can give, ya ikhwan. وَقَالَ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى, and Allah, the blessed and the exalted, He went on to say, ya ikhwan, يُثَبِّتُ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بالقول الثابت في حياة الدنيا وفي الآخرة. Ya Ikhwan, these are words in the Quran. We read over it, but what is it saying? Allah will keep those who believe with a word. What word? Any word? Hi, bye, kif halik? No. La ilaha illallah. And it stands firm in this world and in the next, ya Ikhwan. When you go to your grave, when I go to my grave, I'm not going to be asked how much money I have. If I was a tall man, a short man, was I a shape man? Did I have a PhD? Did I have a degree? Did I have a car? I'm going to be asked, who is your Lord? Maybe you guys are going to be asked that question too. Who is your prophet? I'm going to be asked that question. Maybe you guys too. What is your religion? Dunya. Some Muslims, unfortunately, that might happen to them. Dunya is my religion. Business is my religion. 24/7. All the brother's thinking about is the stock exchange, whether he made money or he lost money. And all the sister is thinking about is, mashallah, the new pair of shoes she's going to get. Brothers have their issues, sisters have their issues, but collectively, as a ummah, we need to know about the code of thabit. Allah mentioned it. A strong word. And in the other ayah, a thing that will give you the strongest hand grip, ya ikhwan, with Allah. It's a firm word, ya ikhwan. But what's going to help us to make it last? We are talking about tahqiq kalimat al-tawheed, la ilaha illallah. It is the actualization of the kalima. When the Arabs, they say that this is the tamyiz, or tumayyiz, ya ikhwan. This is distinction between haqq and batil. This is what made my father kick me out of his house. Because I started waking up in the morning. And as my mom, she took her shahada, but she has Alzheimer's, she used to say that you used to annoy us at 5 o'clock in the morning. And all we could hear from her room is, that's what it sounded like to them. Just murmurs. And this is unfortunately, ya ikhwan, we're taking that. But we need to know, ya ikhwan, as the scholars say, that it is the trunk of a tree. It is the head of the affairs. And it is what they call miftah dar al-salam wa dar al-sa'adah. This statement is the key that will get you into the paradise. وقال الله تعالى وألزمهم كلمات التقوى وكانوا أحق بها وأهلها, and made them stick to a word of piety, and they were in the end, they were worthy of this statement, ya ikhwan. That's why, ya ikhwan, any person, any shakhs can say, La ilaha illallah. And that brings you into Islam, but it has conditions that, ya ikhwan, that even if you say it, you can go out of Islam. And I've seen it with my eyes in the last 30 years, ya ikhwan. Muslims going to the graveyard, begging fulan wa alan for something else. Begging fulan wa alan for things, ya ikhwan, that they can't give them. This took them out of Islam, ya ikhwan. So, ya ikhwan, ya akhwat, we need to renew our understanding of Islam, because Allah Ta'ala, He went on to say, فَلَا تَدْعُوا مَعَ اللَّهِ إِلَهًا آخَرَ فَتَكُونُوا مِنَ الْمُعَذِّبِينَ. So do not invoke with Allah any other deity. Oh, I can ask the Sheikh too, he's on a high level. I can ask Allah and I can ask the Sheikh. Allah says, and do not invoke anything with Allah. Any other deity, any other thing that people worship, any other intermediary, don't do that. Or you will be from amongst the punished, ya ikhwan. This is a serious thing. Look at the situation of the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We have 2 billion Muslims in the world, and ya ikhwan, we couldn't even crack eggs, ya ikhwan. We couldn't jump around the block. We couldn't run around the block as a Ummah, ya ikhwan. Well, call Allah Ta'ala, we'll end it with this ayah, ya ikhwan, to make it crystal clear. And these are just a few pages from one of the books that I have. A few pages, maybe 6 or 7 pages. Call Allah Ta'ala, وَلَا تَجْعَلُوا مَعَ اللَّهِ إِلَهًا آخَرَ. Allah Ta'ala is going to say, do not set up another God with Allah. And we find that, ikhwan, in the Muslim countries, statues are now coming back. From the old days, Muslim countries are bringing back statues, ya ikhwan. And it's a very sad day, ya ikhwan, when the new Muslim has to come and educate the born Muslims, ya ikhwan. You should be educating me about Islam, ya ikhwan. I should be learning Arabic from you and Quran from you and fiqh from you. But many of us, we've been chasing so much things of the dunya that we forgot to spend a little bit of time of our day. And I'll end it with this. We asked the brother some time ago, we're sitting with the imams, and I said to them, how much time do you think that the Muslim sisters spend learning the religion? They spend more time than the men. That's what the brother was saying. I said, and the children, they spend more time than the men. I said, well, how much time do you think the men spend learning Islam? And inshallah, if anybody wants to fight after, I'll be outside, inshallah. They said, I don't know. I said, well, let's do the math. Most of the brothers, mashallah, they have the responsibility of looking after the family, which is a good thing. I got that responsibility too. Most of the Muslims, ya ikhwan, across North America, let's just deal with North America, they come to the Jumu'ah, which is a 30-minute khutbah, approximately. Some come late because of parking. Some have to use the washroom. Some have to use wudu. You brothers, pick your calculators out now. 4 Jumu'ahs every month. You do the math. Times 30. Huh? So that's about 2 hours. Now, if you times that, and this is where the whole calendar thing is off, is it 52 days or 48 days? That's a whole other thing. If you were to add up all the time that it takes, adding that 1 month of 2 hours, ya ikhwan, you come to about 24 hours. 1 day of Islam, the Muslim man is learning, ya ikhwan, and he comes to Jummah and he falls asleep. And then when he says, oh Allah, I need your help, oh Allah. Oh Allah, help me, I'm all jammed up. I lost my job. My family's getting killed. I'm having a hard time. My marriage is messed up. Yeah, well, less than 1 hour, one day a year are the Muslim men learning Islam. We're responsible for educating the women. With that, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala Ibrahim fil alamin innaka Majid. This is the open challenge. Take your family, your cousins, your brother, your sister, get a pen and write La ilaha illallah, and let's see if they can complete it with Muhammad Rasulullah. With that, Akim Islam wa rahmakallah.